Hello, everybody. Good evening. I am back with another episode of the Author Collaborative after a short hiatus, and I'm excited to be talking to today's guest, who is also a dear friend and an author. I'm waiting for her to join the live so I can add her and we can carry forward the conversation we have planned for today. Stay with me for a while as we wait for our guest to join us. Hello. Hi. Thank you for joining. Good evening. The name must have been heard. Thank you for joining. Okay, we have today's guest here. Let me just invite her. She will be here in a while. Let's wait till she accepts. Hi, Shalini.
Hey Manali, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Doing great. I'm so glad. No technical glitches, touch wood.
Yes, that's a major setback when you're doing a live, and we don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So, Shalini, firstly, congratulations on your new book, Behind the Closed Door. I have read it and I really liked it a lot. And from what I'm seeing on social media, it is receiving a lot of positive reviews. So, congratulations on that as well.
Thanks, Manali. It feels great,
Yes.
especially that it is a really short story and it is a short story with a huge impact. So glad the message is going across. So that
Yes.
way, yeah.
Yeah, it does send out a very strong and much needed message, which is also one of the reasons why I like the book so much. And we are going to be focusing on that. But before we do that, somebody has said a hello. So, hello, plant artist. Thank you for joining us. So, Shalini, based on my reading of your book, I have a few questions for you. And if you are ready, I will now start shooting them at you. Because I'm sure the audience is already aware of who we are because we have done this before, and I'm hoping that they have seen the previous episode.
Yeah.
Right. So, Shalini, if you are ready, I will start asking the questions now.
Yes.
Man-made photography. Thank you for joining. We do have quite a few people joining. I was not expecting on a Friday. Thank you everyone for joining us. Okay, so I have my questions here. Since your book does focus a lot on the problem faced by Indian married women, and I wanted to bring out that particular message through my questions also. So I have, focused on that particular topic in today's episode, where we will be talking about women in contemporary fiction. So my questions are also around that. My first question to you is, in both of your books, I have read two of your books, and in both the books, the women are shown to be going through some or the other emotional distress. So, how does one go about writing such characters?
So, first thing that comes to mind, Manali, that I focus on is a technique called show, not tell. Okay,
Hmm.
so in that, I think I'm very careful with the choice of words, especially like in this story when Pragya is a middle class girl, but she is married into a rich family and she enters a new family, new place, new home, and she's instantly taken aback by the opulence of the house. And I have tried to capture her nervousness through the feeling of smell, through vision, through even the soft English music that is permeating in the air, that is also that instantly makes her a fish out of the water, so through that kind of thing. So this technique, I think it's one thing that people, authors, should keep in mind.
Hmm.
So that helps. And moreover, rather than saying that the character is sad, we should say things like, like through her body, through the character's body language, basically, just to highlight in that ways to bring out the emotional distress. Yeah.
Very, very well said. And I think that's a technique that most authors, most experienced authors use in their writing, which is, showing, not telling. And that's
Yeah.
very nice. Thank you. And I do see that in your writing, which is, which comes out very well as well.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next question that I have based on the same topic, which is when writing about women, how do you suggest keeping the issues faced by the women characters in the story relevant? How do we make them relatable, or something that at least women across the world have, maybe they have not gone through it, but they do know women who have gone through it. So how do we ensure that?
So first thing, Manali, that being women, I think these relevant issues, it just comes naturally, and so many things are happening around us, especially behind the closed door is actually inspired by a true story. This actually happened. I mean, not the entire story, that is my imagination, but the theme is what had happened in real life with one of my friend's sister, and I was so shocked. So I think by keeping our eyes and ears open, we'll find so many issues around us, and every any dialogue has or any conversation has the potential to be a very good hook for a beautiful story. So why not? Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually very good advice. Keep your eyes and ears open and listen to stories that women share with you. That's one very important factor that can make your story relevant. Yeah. Moving on to the next question, which I believe is going to be the most important question of this session, is writing a female perspective is tough for male authors. So, where do you feel they lack, and what's your suggestion on resolving it?
Honestly, Manali, I don't agree with that. Have you read Sidney Sheldon?
Yeah, I have. And
You
I'm
know,
a fan.
half my life, half my life, half my life, I did not know he is a male. I assumed he was so good. He was so good. His female characters are so beautiful. I always assumed that he is a female author. So, I mean, just depends on a person's perspective, how we see things, whether it is male or female. I don't think it matters. But having said that, I have read some of the contemporary authors, and I think what lacks is probably women are a complicated beings, really knowing, I mean, your better half really knowing. I don't think a man can claim they know their wives well. So what do you think? What do you think is should be done in this case?
So, speaking from my experience of writing male characters, I can say based on that, because honestly, at the spur of the moment, I cannot think of any problematic female characters I have come across written by male authors. But based on my experience, what I can suggest is that you know talking to somebody in your life who is of the opposite sex can help you develop the characters better. Yeah, you cannot put yourself in the shoes of that gender, obviously, but trying to talk to as many people as possible from the opposite sex can help you develop the character better.
Yeah, true. And one more thing, no, on this regard. So initially, I used to find it challenging writing a male point of view. So I used to just shy away from that, But now I try and base those some characteristics of a male character on people that I know in real life. And with experience, I think it has started to flow in naturally, like you just said.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
yes, making the opposite sex characters have characteristic traits of people of from that gender, that helps to make them authentic and less problematic.
Yeah. True, true.
Yes. Coming to my next question for you, how important is it to write contemporary stories and characters? And is there a similarity in the way that, women have been portrayed and are now portrayed? If yes, now how so? And if no, how do you suggest that we can change it?
So, I think contemporary stories are important because, see, it's actually a reflection of our society as it stands today, right? And best part I like about contemporary stories is that you need not follow any traditional narrative
Hmm.
like in other forms. So you can play with, you can be yourself. You can play with other forms, be experiment with things basically. So that way, I think it is important. And uh, difference in how women have been portrayed. Not very sure. I think I'll pose this question to you, Manali. What do you think are the differences then and now?
Let's take the character of Draupadi, because uh, I think a lot has been spoken about her, and a lot of stories, historical fiction stories, have been have come out in the recent times, portraying her character in a different light. And I think that's a major difference, because we do see that. I mean, Draupadi is a character which is inspiring for most women out there. And when we look at the original text, and when we look at the text that has been adapted and has been done from a female point of view, we do see the change in the character perspective. And I think that's something that has progressed. And I do believe that even as male readers who might have read the books, the original one and the ones that have been adapted, they can see that she has been given a lot of voice in comparison to what was in the original text. And also we understand her character better, and probably that's what has changed over the years, over the generations. And I think that's something positive to look at.
Who are you talking about?
Draupadi.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. True, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when I read that book, Palace of Illusions
Palace
by
of
Chitra Divakar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
moreover, Manali, in today's times, yeah, you were saying?
no,
Go
continue.
ahead.
So I was just
I
adding
was
that
saying,
before that book came out, I'm not very sure if there was any other book which showed Draupadi in such a light, where we were looking at the story from our point of view.
yeah, true. I was thinking that today's in contemporary fiction, most of the female characters I find, I'm not able to distinguish one from another. You know, everyone is like, uh, who was that? Elizabeth Bennet of Pride and Prejudice. You know,
Hmm.
one of the most lovely female characters. I think today we are creating like mirror replica of her in some way or the other. You know, so
Yeah.
probably that's why I aim to write, like, you will notice that my protagonists are more of, vulnerable, meek, little domesticated, and I try that they grow through their, through their journey and reach the other end, so that there is a difference between
Ah,
where they started and where they are ending. So
very true. Yes.
that way.
We do that. Yeah, that's a good point you have brought out. Well, yeah, true. But good that you are trying to change it in your own way, because showing the character growth and development is equally important for a good story.
Yeah,
Uh,
true.
yes.
And recently I was reading a book, very famous book by a contemporary author. It's a very famous book, very hit book. I was not able to continue beyond 5 to 10 pages, and I was like, why not? And then I realized, a lot of things are happening, but I don't know what is happening with the character. I mean, you just replace the character with someone else, and the story will still continue.
Hmm.
So, female character, very bold, very beautiful, very uh, very talkative, but still, I mean, that part is missing. You need to show, I mean, create the difference basically. So
Yes.
that's
That's
it.
also very important while writing contemporary. fictional women that you don't stick to the roots that you have grown up reading. You try to make them make them you
Yeah,
try to place them in today's era, and you try to make them unique also. You need to give them backstories too.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Very, very, very good point, Manali. Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yes, which brings me to my last question. Relationships and their portrayal form a big part of fiction writing. So, does it make the narrative better if both point of views are, included, or do you feel that one point of view is fine?
Relationships are actually so important. I mean, without them, we will not have any spice in the story, right? I mean, you create two characters, but unless they interact, yeah, unless we know how they are related. So, yeah, it is important. Coming to point of view, I think it is interesting to read from both point of view. If a person is able to create that kind of inner conflict for the characters, make them interesting, uh, so for me, like right now, I have a work in progress book, and in that I'm exploring, like I have writing in third person point of view, but my every alternate chapter is from the protagonist point of view. So it's a
Okay.
first person point of view,
Mhm.
and I can't tell you how much I'm enjoying that. That has actually helped me speed up my writing because I'm enjoying the first person point of view so much. So it's actually a mix. Let's see how it comes out. Yeah.
Okay. That's very interesting. So,
What
your
about you, Manali? What do you think about point of view?
so when I was writing Love Triangle, which is the one and only novel that I have written,
Oh,
I
I
was
love it. I can't tell you how much I was impacted, I mean, I'm a big time reader, Manali. Okay. I'm always reading a book, but that, I mean, I feel shy in admitting, but I did have tears, I mean, it did take me back to my college days. I was so touched, Manali, seriously. Even though it's a simple story, but the way you have written it, it
thank
it
you.
really
That means
brought
a
them
lot.
to life. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot. So when we were talking about Love Triangle, I was trying to write it only from Aisha's point of view first. But then I thought if I want to show the importance of Viren and Abhi in her story, I also have to show why they are important and why they made the choices that they did, because they are important. Of course, Aisha is the central character, and we see her progressing the most throughout the story. But then we also have to show what the other two are feeling, and I don't think I would have been able to do justice to all three of their choices if I hadn't included their point of view. So
Uh,
probably it depends on the kind of story you are trying to tell and the message that you are
I
trying to
think that also brought life to those
tell.
characters, when you brought their point of
So as I
It's
said,
very important.
it depends on the kind of story and the kind of message that you want to send out.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So
So,
I am done with my questions. Now it is your turn to ask me the questions.
yeah. Yeah, first I want to. I recently I started reading Under the Mistletoe and Other Stories, the compilation of short stories book. Uh, but I read in pieces. So I read two stories, then I took a break, then I came back. But now I have refreshed. I have read all the stories again back to back. So it's a very interesting collection, Manali, because one thing that caught my eye was in some stories you have barely scratched the surface, like that Happy Meal story. I mean, like very subtle things are happening, and it just tickles you, like take a feather and tickle yourself. I was like, oh God, even I mean, I'm speechless. Okay, so what drove you to write this kind of compilation, and what
Uh,
was the motivation?
so all these stories, they have not been written at one point. They have been written over the years. And when I wrote two of the stories, they were part of a competition that I was participating in. It was an online fiction story writing competition, and I wrote two stories as part of that competition. And I thought maybe I can, write a few more and turn it into an anthology. And it was somewhere around in September that I had that idea, and I thought I have enough time to bring it out somewhere near the year end, and that was Christmas time. So that's when the idea of making them a Christmas stories and poems came to me. Also, because I have studied in a convent school, I know Christmas is very special. Uh, I have seen the festive, aura around me while growing up, and it's always a special time, when people are getting together, and there's so much happiness, so much cheerful vibes around everywhere, not just in the family. Even when you step out of your house, or you go to your school, or you go to a church, it's very beautiful. It's very warm and welcoming. So I wanted to give out that aura through the stories, and that's basically the motivation behind it all.
Okay, nice. So we have Anand who has joined us.
Hello,
Hi
Anand.
Anand, nice to have
Thank
you
you. Thank you
here.
for joining. Hi.
Okay, so Manali, so going to my first question for you. In Indian writing, who has been your favorite female character and why?
I think I've already answered this in one of the previous questions.
Oh, right, you did. You did.
Let's
You
drop
did.
it.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Because I mean, what she goes through, I don't think anybody can be unmoved by that. I mean, you feel anger, you feel empathy, and then you are also inspired by what she does. Being in that situation, in that era, and the way she handled it, I don't think anybody could have done it better. Other than that, if in recent times I have to say, I would say Amo from God of Small Things. She was also one very inspiring character because,
Okay.
yeah,
I'm going to check her out.
yeah. You
Okay.
must, if you have not read God of Small Things, it's by Arundhati Roy. I always recommend that book because
Hmm.
I don't think there is any other comparative book which can, tell you and give you an understanding of politics in Kerala.
Okay. Nice. Adding it to my TBR then. Okay. My next question to you, Manali. How are female characters portrayed in Indian literature, and when you are writing, how do your heroines aspire to be different from the convention?
Okay, speaking from love triangle's perspective, one very conscious thing that I was trying to do with that story was trying to show that it's okay for a girl also to have multiple crushes. I don't think that has been done often in Indian fiction writing. We are always
Mhm.
generally shown that there are two boys fighting over a girl. There is never one girl confused between two boys.
Right.
Yeah. So,
My favorite theme, actually.
yeah, I think that's something we all can work upon. Trying to tell the readers that women feel the same way as men do, and especially during their teenage, it's okay to have like more than one person.
True, true, very true, very true. Okay. So my next question is, and it's a little personal. Uh, which is your favorite theme that you want to explore, but you haven't gotten around to in your,
Crime fiction.
like given a chance, you would love to explore that theme.
Crime fiction. I am actually toying with an idea, and let's see how it turns out. So, crime fiction is something I do want to explore as a writer.
Oh, wow, interesting and difficult. Okay, nice. Okay, coming to your book, Under the Mistletoe and Other Stories, tell me one story that you enjoyed the most and one story that you would definitely recommend others to read as part of the short story
I think
compilation.
I enjoyed Naughty or Nice the most because it's very, very cute, and the way the child responds to the activity, it's very warm, and you just want to jump into the pages and hug the little child. So I think I enjoyed that one the most. And one story that I would want everyone to read is Touch Me Not because uh, it's related
Yeah.
to. something that every woman goes through, and how she, deals with it is something that everyone should read because it's not difficult to come out of that. I mean, it
True.
is difficult to come out of that, but how difficult it is, that story
Yeah,
makes you understand.
I agree. I agree, Manali. Yeah. Okay. Okay. My last question to you is, while writing female characters, what is that one challenge that you constantly find yourself dealing with?
That she doesn't
Something that is like,
that she doesn't end up being stereotypical. I try to draw the line, she can't be somebody who's very conservative because that is problematic, or she can't be somebody who's very bold because again that also becomes problematic.
yeah, true. Yeah,
Because
right. I agree, Manali.
we have always seen girls being very bubbly and and I find that very problematic because not every girl is like that way. And we have seen a lot of Bollywood movies and a lot of Indian books where women are portrayed to be very bubbly, and I don't think all women are like that.
Yeah, and you know what? My first story that I had written like years ago, and I tried to make her like, we all want to be likable, right? At least as teenagers. Now I don't think so. So my heroine, the character I had written, protagonist, I tried to make her likable. Okay, I gave her all the good qualities, and when one of my friends read, and he said that I don't know what you were thinking, but I found her very annoying. I was like, dear God. I, so yeah, that was my first critique.
Oh, oh my God, that reminds me of one review I had read very long time ago. And it has that particular line from the review has stuck with me. It was after the movie Ek Villain had come out, and somebody had written in the review, I don't even remember whose review it was, but they had written that she's so annoyingly cheerful that, she's about to die. Nobody can be like that.
Okay. Yeah, true, true, true. And yeah.
Yeah. So when you said annoying, that kind of, reminded me of that review. And, after reading that review, I had consciously tried to make my female characters not like that.
Yeah. Okay, Manali. I have some like quick rapid questions for you.
Yeah.
Okay. You will get like 5 seconds to do it. We'll do it
Okay.
Karan Johar style. Ready?
Ready.
Okay. One advice you would give your younger self.
Don't take commerce. Go for art.
Oh. Wow, wow, wow. Sci-fi or romance?
Romance.
Okay. What's the first thing you notice in someone that you just meet?
Their shoes. If their shoes are dirty,
Mm.
it tells a lot about their personality.
Mm. Okay. Nice. Your favorite character from Secret Santa story from your book?
I don't remember the name, but the guy who was gifted that book, I'm forgetting the name. I think that was the most lovable character because he was the one who created the confusion the most.
Prashant, I think. Not sure. Okay. Okay. A celebrity you would want to date?
Abhay Deol. Yeah, because
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
my husband and I have had a
Unexpected.
few arguments also about that. He's definitely on top of the list of people he's jealous of.
Okay. Nice, Manali.
Yes. So I also have some rapid fire questions for you, Shalini. Let me just open them. Yes. Okay. My first question, please. One thing you think women should do more, and one thing you feel men should do more.
I think women should be more confident
Hmm.
in their uh, life,
Hmm.
and men should respect women more.
Hmm.
You know. Yeah.
Yes. I think we are moving towards that, but just not enough.
Yeah.
Not as much as you would like it to move ahead.
True, true. Yeah.
Okay, so next question is very interesting. The last thing that you purchased is now a title in for your next story, and you will have to play around that name now. Last thing you purchased.
Okay. So I was forced to purchase a mask when I went to a doctor's. Okay. So I was so probably my next title would be un, the un, the masked affair. You know.
Wow, that would be really interesting. The master affair. Ah, you know that I'm already getting
Oh
into it.
God.
I will leave that up to you now.
I will see.
Okay. My next question is, as a mother, what were you most unprepared for? Something that took you by complete surprise, and you were like, "ये तो मुझे किसी ने बताया ही नहीं."
Yeah, actually, everybody talks about the joy of motherhood, Manali. It brings a lot of joy, and it did. But nobody talks about the pain that you undergo after the kids start growing up. So 90% of the time they are such a pain. Oh God. And just yesterday I was making my son study. He is just 6 years old, and he was obviously, well, he didn't want to study. He was posing all sorts of questions. Why? Manali, the kind of answers I was giving, the kind of dialogues I was saying, it was exact replica of what my father used to tell me when I was younger. I mean, it was like I really felt at that time that life has come a full circle.
Oh
So
God. Oh,
yeah,
you hate yourself in that moment. Like, oh my God, I sound so much like my parents.
true, very true.
Oh, okay. My last question to you is, would you rather be in an elevator full of noisy high school students or in an elevator full of judgmental aunties? Why?
Definitely the first one. So first, two reasons. First, I can be myself with those noisy high school kids, and second, they will take you back to, it will be like a travel down the memory lane. So you put us together, we'll be those judgmental aunties.
I think
And they'll be like, we don't want to be here.
I also definitely would have chosen that only because nobody wants to be around aunties. Especially not me,
Yeah,
because we will start asking बच्चे को क्या doing. I don't want to answer such questions.
yeah, true.
Okay, Shalini, this was really fun. Thank you for joining me once again for this episode, and I hope we can do this again sometime. And for that,
Yes,
I'm going to
definitely.
push you from now only to write another book, so we can do this again.
Yes. And I'll be waiting to read your crime fiction, Manali,
Yes,
one day.
soon, because I already
Yes.
have an idea and I'm trying to work on it, but you know how it is with authors. So let's hope it
True, true.
becomes something concrete and worthwhile, publishing. So hopefully
Yeah.
we'll do this again sometime soon and with another
Yes.
book of ours. Thank you for joining me and thank you everyone who joined us today. This was really fun. The episode will be available on my IGTV and I will also be putting it up on my YouTube channel. So for those of you who are not there for the entire conversation, you can always go back and you can skip the parts which you didn't like that much.
Yeah. Okay, Manali. Nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you, Shalini.
Bye bye.
Good night. Bye.
Good night.